Shalom, shalom. This morning we're going to be talking about a man named Lamech. You might not be able to remember who he is. He's in the book of Genesis as well as some apocryphal texts like the book of Jasher. But let me tell you who his family is because you probably know all of them. So his grandfather was Enoch. Enoch was the one who was so righteous that he was taken up to heaven by God, whether physically or prophetically. He got to see all of the different parts of heaven. He interacted with God himself. He interacted with angels. He was given all kinds of prophecy. There are even people who believe that he was the Messiah. It's a whole thing. He was a super important person as far as the apocryphal texts go. All we really know about him from Genesis is that he was so righteous that God took him. But you can read all about his adventures in the apocryphal texts. Now, Lamech's father was Methuselah, who was like the super righteous, crazy, amazing, jinn, demon slaying sword bearer. And he also had prophecy and was just like a pretty righteous dude. Now, Lamech's son was Noah, who also had prophecy, who was the most righteous man of his generation, and who specifically was born to ride out the apocalypse on a boat. So, what did Lamech do, you might ask? What is his big, crazy, important thing that we know him for? Nothing. We know very little about him. He's mentioned briefly in some apocryphal texts. He's mentioned super briefly in the book of Genesis, and he's actually often confused with another Lamech who was a family member of his. He really didn't do much of anything. We specifically hear Enoch was one of the most righteous men of his generation. Methuselah, most righteous man of his generation. Noah, most righteous man of his generation. Lamech. Crickets. Like, imagine being him in that family. Who your dad is, your grandpa, your son, and then you're just like a regular dude.